On International Women's Day, we celebrate the achievements of women while acknowledging the barriers and discrimination many still face.
Later today, Small Business BC will hold a panel about breaking down biases in the workplace. And joining us this morning to tell us more is the moderator of that panel, Lindsay Dent. Good morning, Lindsay. Happy International Women's Day to you.
Good morning, Kerri and Jason. Happy International Women's Day. Thank you so much for having me this morning.
Thank you for joining us. Okay, first off, what kinds of biases do women face in the workplace?
Ooh, lots of different ones. So whether it's deliberate or not, biases definitely make it difficult for women to move ahead. There's 6 different biases that really stand out. So the first would be the likability bias. So likability bias is rooted in age-old expectations where we expect men to be assertive, so when they lead, it feels natural. But for women, we expect them to be kind and communal, so when they assert themselves, we feel like we don't like them as much. The next one would be performance bias. So the performance bias is based on deep-rooted and incorrect assumptions about women's and men's abilities. We tend to underestimate women's performances and overestimate men's. We also have the maternal bias. So motherhood triggers false assumptions that women are less committed to their careers and even less competent. There's the attribution bias. This is closely linked to the performance bias as well. Because we see women as being less competent than men, we tend to give them less credit for their accomplishments and blame them for their mistakes. There's the affinity bias. It sounds exactly like what it is. So we gravitate towards people who are exactly like us in appearance, beliefs, and backgrounds. And we may avoid or even dislike people who are different from us. And then we have the intersectionality bias. So this bias isn't limited to gender. Women can also experience biases due to their race, their sexual orientation, disability, and any other aspects of their identity.
Wow, thank you for breaking down all of those biases. And you know what? I recognize a lot of them, and I think a lot of women out there would. How do they impact career and growth potential?
Yeah, so I would say career potential, 73% of women experience that bias at work, yet less than a third of employees actually speak up about it when they see it. So again, whether they recognize it or not, a lot of people are not speaking about this. This hurts women and makes it very difficult for companies to level the playing field. Knowing that the bias exists is absolutely not enough. So some of these things that it impacts, despite all of the gains that women have had, they're still underrepresented. So women's representation has increased across the pipeline since 2016. However, women, especially women of color, remain significantly underrepresented in leadership. So representation absolutely matters.
Lindsay, sorry to interrupt. What can male colleagues, what can employers do then to address this on a micro level?
So on a micro level, some strategies that you can do is, speaking up for someone in the moment, asking probing questions, sticking to facts, explaining when bias is at play, and advocating for policies and process changes.
Lindsay, I understand that there's a panel that's happening today. Tell us about that and how people can take part.
Yeah, absolutely. So this year, for International Women's Day, our panel discussion focuses on the way that we can break the bias in the workplace and create that level playing field create the level playing field for women in the workplace. In today's panel, we'll discuss how to create a workplace free of bias, stereotypes, and discrimination. Work cultures that are diverse, equitable, inclusive, and ones that make a difference, and where women are valued and celebrated. So on this panel today, there's 3 powerful women that are joining me who are making a difference and setting new standards in the workplace. So this includes Anna Chan, who is the founder of My Momentum, Natasha Jenshani, who is the president and CEO of Career Contacts, as well as Michelle Kwok, who is the co-founder and CEO of Flick.
Wow, sounds like a real powerhouse. And people can access that through smallbusinessbc.ca and get some more information there.
Absolutely. I'm also going to share a code with anyone who wants to join for a complimentary registration. If you use code IWD2022, you can join us today from 1 to 2:30 p.m.
Excellent stuff. Lindsay, thank you so much for joining us on a very important day.
Thanks so much, Kerri and Jason.